Hello everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at Tropical Depression 5, which if it did form would turn into Tropical Storm Edward, and this is actually going to be moving far away from the east coast, and it's going to actually be moving eastward, but this is still going to be quite important because it will be most likely our fifth named storm of the season here for the Atlantic here. So that is definitely something that we do have to pay attention to, and it is something that is definitely very important to look at. Now, I'm also going to be releasing my fall and winter forecasts for the years of 2020 into 2021 coming July 10th and July 15th. So my first fall forecast for this year will be coming out July 10th, and then my first winter forecast will be coming out July 15th. So make sure that you are staying tuned for that. And I'm going to have my temperature forecast, my precipitation forecast, and I'll even have my snowfall forecast for my definitely for my winter forecast, but I might even add it for my fall forecast there. So make sure you are make sure that you do have your notifications turned on for that, and you will get notified when I do post those videos. So here is currently what the National Weather Service is showing, and they actually have pretty much nothing put down here in terms of watches and warnings. We only have some air quality alerts in effect for parts of Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and parts of Ohio, and then we have just some coastal flood advisories for parts of Delaware and southern New Jersey. And other than that, we have very, very little going on. We do have some severe weather going on in the northern plains, so for parts of eastern North Dakota and western and northwestern Minnesota, we do actually have some flash flood warnings and flood warnings in effect because we do have some fairly potent storms moving throughout that area. So here's your current infrared loop here, and we do see that on the eastern side of this, which we've seen on a lot of these, the eastern and especially the northeastern side of this system has the coldest cloud tops, indicating that it's the most intense part of the storm, the eastern part of it. So that is something that we've seen over the past few storms that have developed. Most of them have been on the eastern side, having the biggest or having the most strength and the most energy on the eastern side of this. So here is your current Central Pacific, and then we're going to go to your Eastern Pacific, and then we'll look at your Northern Atlantic here. Now here's the Central Pacific, and we have no storms expected within the next 5 days. Here's your 5-day outlook for the Eastern Pacific, and we have a 40% chance. Well, I believe it's actually a 30% chance in that yellow region there, and then we have a I believe a 60% chance in that orange region there over the next 5 days of these two systems forming. Now, here's where Tropical Depression 5 is right now, and it's basically eastward of about southernmost South Carolina there, and it's heading towards Bermuda there. So it's about 400 miles southwest of Bermuda here, and it's actually moving further and further along, and eventually it will impact parts of Bermuda most likely. Now, here is where that low pressure system is, and we do see it is kind of hard to tell where it is because most of it is just water, but you can kind of see right around the outer banks of North Carolina. So it would be about a few hundred miles southeast of there. So it's pretty much in the middle of the ocean right now, but it will eventually make impact with Bermuda. And most of these models, I believe all of these models actually, are bringing this to a tropical storm, which would be, again, Tropical Storm Edward, which would be our fifth named storm in the Atlantic this season. Now, here's what the National Hurricane Center is putting out. And they're actually putting this to a tropical storm within the next about, I would say, probably a couple of hours. So by the time I'm releasing this video, it'll probably be another 4, 5, 6 hours, and it'll probably be a tropical storm by then. So definitely go to nhc.noaa.gov where you can actually go check this out and see whether it is a tropical storm by that point or not. Now, when this does become a tropical storm, probably by tomorrow, I will most likely post a video, if not the day after, with my official storm track for this because it is going to most likely turn into Tropical Storm Edward. Now, here is your list of names, and again, this would be Tropical Storm Edward here. We already have Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, and Dolly out of the way, and now we're on our fifth storm, Edward here. Now, That's for the Atlantic, and there's a different naming chart for the Central and Eastern Pacific. So you can go check that out. It's on NOAA's front page. Now, something that was interesting, and I don't know why the National Hurricane Center did this. They're expecting this to become a tropical storm, but they're only giving it a 5 to 20% chance of actually seeing tropical storm force wind speed. So that's definitely something a little bit weird that I did notice. But either way, it's most likely going to get named. And even if it does not become, even if the sustained winds for most of the time isn't really at tropical storm status, it'll still cause quite a nuisance, especially for parts of Bermuda. Now, here is your storm track, and most of these models completely in line with each other. And this is probably the most agreement we've seen all year on a single storm, and it's heading pretty much straight northeastward. And all of these models are within a probably about 50-mile radius of each other in terms of where they show the storm tracking, and that's actually very good to see all these models pretty much agreeing for the most part here. Now, here is your GEFS storm track, and this is your GFS ensemble model. And we do see most of them. We don't have too many of the GEFS models on here, so we really only have a couple to look from. But most of them, again, looking generally at a northeastward track. Most of these models didn't run yet because it was recently formed into a tropical depression, and most of these models didn't get their modeling cycles through yet. Now, here is your intensity guidance, and I believe all but about two of them, actually all but I believe just one of them, is actually bringing this to tropical storm, and some of these actually bringing it fairly high up. So we have most of them just below about 50 knots, so anywhere between 40 and 50 knots at the peak of this storm, which is about 45 to about 55 miles per hour at the peak of the storm as of right now. And the peak of the storm will be within probably the next 2 to 3 days, as it's right past Bermuda. It would already be well past Bermuda by that point. Now, here is your current model guidance from the European ensemble model and what it's showing in terms of the chances that this will become a tropical depression. Now, another thing with the European, this storm was actually a tropical depression by about late last night. So I wouldn't even have had a chance to make a video yesterday. It was late last night, I believe the 8 o'clock Eastern time update, or I believe the 5 p.m. Pacific time update, and they recently added this as a tropical depression, and the models still haven't really picked up on that, so they're still only showing a 30 to 40% chance of seeing tropical depression wind speeds of 20 knots or more, and they have zero chance of it becoming a tropical storm. And I disagree with that. First of all, the National Hurricane Center is bringing this to a tropical storm status, and also it really does look quite likely, especially with those warmer waters as you get just off the coast of the Mid Atlantic and the Northeast. You have some very, very warm waters there, and it really is very, very favorable for some systems to develop. Also, it's a low shear environment throughout there, so that is something to notice. Now, one other thing I want to point out, we do have some sort of system that's over here, and I'll play this model through so you can see what it does with it. But this is the European ensemble model, by the way. So this is a collection of about 30 to 40 members, or 30 to 40 models, and what the overall consensus is. And they're bringing this kind of pushing this up along the east coast. So that'll be something interesting to see if we can see some sort of east coast tropical storm, and if that could happen. And if that does happen, I'll definitely let you guys know. But then this would develop within the next about 5 to 7 days, so still not on the 5-day time frame. So it's a bit too far out to really say, but the models are showing about a 60% chance of this becoming a tropical depression off the east coast. So something interesting to see. This would be interesting to see if they would move up the mid-Atlantic and northeast coast. So definitely something interesting and something I'll be watching for you guys. And if I do see any more developments, I'll definitely let you guys know. Anyways, I do want to just again say I'm going to be making my fall forecast on July 10th, which is in a couple of days. It's in about 6 days from now, and then I'll be uploading it on July 10th. I'll be uploading my winter forecast on July 15th. In terms of how many forecasts I'm gonna do for the fall, I want to do about 2 or 3 more of those forecasts, and then I'll try and do the individual monthly forecast for each individual month as we get to each individual month. So I'll do my September forecast, my October forecast, my November forecast, and the same will apply for my winter forecast, I actually want to do 4 or 5 of those forecasts, so that in case something does change, which it does a lot. The winter forecasts do vary a lot, and it's very, very hard to forecast those. So they do have a lot of variation between them. So I will probably make about 3, 4, maybe even 5 if I need to. And then, of course, I'll do the individual monthly forecasts. So I'll do December, January, February, March, probably April as well. And I'll most likely try and get to a I'll probably be uploading daily to maybe even bi-daily, so once every 2 days. Once we get into the fall and winter time, it's just a lot. It has a lot more storms going around. It's a lot more active time of the year. So that's why my uploads have been a little bit inconsistent because, of course, I think this National Weather Service page speaks for itself. There really isn't too much going on, and that's why I just haven't been uploading too much. And really, that's how it's going to be for in July and early August. But once we get into the hurricane season, I'll upload consistently again. And then also once we get, especially into the fall and winter months, that's when I can really pump out almost daily videos because there's so much going on that I can cover. So that's just something I want to point out for those of you who are wondering in terms of my upload schedule and when I'm going to be posting those monthly forecasts. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.